Welcome back to Investigate Joe Rogan, the podcast where I fact check and investigate things that have been said on the Joe Rogan Experience. Today I will be covering episode 1693 with Evan Hafer. This is actually my second episode covering Evan, as I also did an episode covering his appearance with Matt Best back in October that you can go listen to if you want to hear more about this man. Apparently, Rogan had Evan on the podcast this time because he was interviewed by the New York Times, and people on the internet were mad at him for some reason, and then other people were mad at those people for other reasons. I'm still not sure what Evan actually said to piss everyone off, and I can't really be bothered to go read the New York Times article just so I can be better informed about some internet drama. I doubt many of you guys care about that either. Based on the kinds of emails I get, most of you really only care about aliens, so I didn't feel the need to talk about any of this stuff. I think there's really only one thing worth talking about that they bring up, hence why this episode is going to be so short, and that is the chicken paper. Rogan uses a 2015 paper called "Imperfect Vaccination Can Enhance the Transmission of Highly Virulent Pathogens" to argue that we should not be vaccinating people against coronavirus. He says that instead, we should have a government-sponsored weight loss propaganda campaign and give everyone vitamins. Now, I'm exaggerating a bit here, but this is what he strongly implies that he wants to have happen. What he says is that this study shows that vaccines that prevent you from dying, but do not prevent you from getting a virus and spreading a virus, will create a more powerful strain. The idea is that usually viruses can be too deadly for their own good. They'll kill the host so fast or kill so many hosts that they can't spread as well. But if you have a so-called leaky vaccine that keeps the host alive, then this won't be a problem. This study, which was done in chickens, suggests that this really can happen. It says, quote, "Our data show that anti-disease vaccines that do not prevent transmission can create conditions that promote the emergence of pathogen strains that cause more severe disease in unvaccinated hosts." The study doesn't say anything about the virus becoming more dangerous to the vaccinated chickens, because it did not. They say it became more dangerous to the unvaccinated chickens. This means that, if anything, Rogan has accidentally made an argument for getting vaccinated, not against. If you don't want to end up catching the future super deadlier COVID created by this process, you should get vaccinated. This paper and this argument that Rogan makes is still relatively undiscussed. You won't find too much about it online, but I think that will probably change soon because Rogan brought it up in this episode. That being said, I am not the only one who has realized the irony of this chicken study being used by anti-vax people such as Rogan. David Gorski, who is a professor and a surgeon who has written a lot about pseudoscience, wrote an article about this for sciencebasedmedicine.org, where he points out the same thing I have. He wrote this about the chicken study. Even if this phenomenon occurs with a human vaccine, it doesn't, as far as we know. That's an even more compelling reason to be vaccinated. After all, if a human vaccine lets deadlier versions of a disease flourish, that is all the more reason to be protected from those deadly strains. As any chicken farmer knows, vaccinating against Marek's disease has population health benefits in that it prevents mass death due to the disease, even if the vaccine can allow more virulent strains to evolve. Marek's disease, by the way, is the virus from the chicken study. Gorski also points out in this article that there are other studies on this chicken virus that came to different conclusions. The paper that Rogan brings up isn't the end-all be-all on the topic. A study called "Pathogen Transmission from Vaccinated Hosts Can Cause Dose-Dependent Reduction in Virulence" actually argues that leaky vaccines produce positive effects. It says that, quote, "We used transmission experiments involving Marek disease virus in chickens to show that vaccination with a leaky vaccine substantially reduces viral load in both vaccinated individuals and unvaccinated contact individuals they infect. Consequently, contact birds are less likely to develop disease symptoms or die, show less severe symptoms, and shed less infectious virus themselves when infected by vaccinated birds. These results highlight that even partial vaccination with a leaky vaccine can have unforeseen positive consequences in controlling the spread and symptoms of disease. So this study basically says that leaky vaccines make the virus less dangerous and less contagious. No matter how you look at it, both of these papers are actually arguments for being vaccinated. If leaky vaccines create deadlier viruses, you should get vaccinated before Giga COVID shows up or whatever. And if leaky vaccines make the virus less dangerous and less contagious, then you should get vaccinated to contribute to that effect. There is no chicken study that suggests that vaccines are bad. Rogan clearly hasn't put any thought into what the implications of this study actually are, probably has not read it. That's really all I have to say about this episode, although I'll also say that I really enjoyed Rogan's powerful patriotic rant where he proclaims that, quote, up until 1776, every single country that ever existed was run by dictators. It was a rant that Alex Jones himself would probably be proud of. I liked it. Thought it was funny. Thank you for listening. You can follow me on Twitter. There's a link to that down there. You can email me. Actually, don't email me. Don't email me about the vaccine. I've heard enough about this from people in real life, like all the time. Continue to send me things about aliens and how I'm an idiot, mushroom things. Keep sending me those emails. I prefer those. And thank you for listening. I will see you next episode.